All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on something called transactional analysis. We're going to figure out the hidden rules of conversation and what's really going on when we talk to each other.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're with your partner, your boss, a friend, and bam, you're stuck in a loop. It's that same draining conversation you've had a million times before. So why? Why does this keep happening?
Well, it turns out there's a blueprint for all of this. It's called Transactional Analysis, or just TA for short. It was developed way back in the 1950s by a psychiatrist named Eric Berne, and it gives us this incredible toolkit to decode what's actually happening just beneath the surface of our words.
Okay, so the whole thing boils down to this one simple but seriously powerful idea. Our personality isn't just one single thing. Nope, we all have three distinct inner voices or modes that we switch between a lot of the time without even noticing.
Berne gave these modes a name: ego states. You can think of an ego state as a specific combo of feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. It's whichever part of your personality is running the show in any given moment. So, let's meet the cast of characters, shall we?
First up, we've got the parent. This is basically a giant internal tape recorder of all the rules and beliefs we soaked up as kids from our parents and teachers. It's where all our shoulds and should nots live. You can spot the parent when you hear words like always, never, and must. It's that voice of tradition inside your head.
Next, there's the adult. This is our logical, rational self. It's like an internal computer, just processing information, right here, right now. It deals with facts and reality, without all the emotional baggage from the past. The adult is curious, always asking things like what, why, and how. This is your voice of reason.
And finally, we have the child ego state. This is a recording of our internal world as kids, all those feelings we felt. It's the source of our biggest joys, our creativity, our sense of wonder, but it's also where our old fears and hurts hang out. You'll hear the child in phrases like, I want it, or wow, that's amazing, or even, it's not fair. This is the voice of our emotions.
Now, it's really important to get this. None of these states are just good or bad. They each have two sides. The parent can be that nagging, critical voice, or it can be warm, nurturing, and supportive. And same with the child. It can be free and spontaneous, just full of life. Or it can be adapted, either playing by the rules to get what it wants, or just flat out rebelling against them.
Okay, so we've got these three voices in our heads. So what? How does this actually play out in real life? Well, every single time we talk to someone, our ego states are the ones doing the talking. Let's see how that works.
In the world of TA, the most basic unit of a conversation is called a stroke. A stroke is literally any kind of recognition, a nod, a smile, a compliment, or even a criticism. See, we are all wired with this deep need for strokes. And here's the kicker. We'll do almost anything to get them, even if they're negative.
So when we're exchanging these strokes, it's called a transaction. And there are two main kinds. A complementary transaction is smooth sailing. My adult asks your adult a factual question, and your adult answers. Simple. But a crossed transaction, that's where the train goes off the rails. My adult might ask, hey, have you seen my keys? And your critical parent fires back with, if you put them where they belong, you wouldn't lose them. And boom, communication is officially broken.
So if we know this stuff, why do we keep getting into those same old fights? Why do we keep having these cross transactions? Well, TA says it's because we're often unconsciously following a script, a life plan we wrote for ourselves way back in childhood. Eric Berne himself had this beautiful way of putting it. He said, we're all born okay, but then life happens. Our experiences can convince us that something is wrong with us or with other people, and that core belief becomes the foundation of our entire life script.
These core beliefs are called life positions. The goal, the healthy place to be, is I'm okay, you're okay. But we can get stuck in these other boxes, feeling inferior, I'm not okay, you're okay, or maybe superior, I'm okay, you're not okay, or even completely hopeless, I'm not okay, you're not okay. And these positions drive so much of our behavior without us even realizing it.
So how do we keep ourselves stuck in those not okay boxes? We play what TA calls psychological games. And let's be crystal clear, these are not fun games. They're these destructive, repeating patterns with a hidden agenda that always end with someone feeling bad, which just confirms their not okay belief.
One of the most classic and honestly most recognizable games is captured in something called the drama triangle. In a fight, we often slip into one of three roles. You've got the victim who feels helpless, poor me. Then there's the persecutor who blames everyone else. It's all your fault.
And the rescuer, who swoops in to save the day. Don't worry, let me help you. And people will just keep switching roles and the drama never ends.
Okay, I know this all might sound a little bleak, but here's the amazing part. The whole point of understanding these patterns isn't to feel bad about them, it's to gain the power to change them. Awareness is your first step to getting real. So, how do you actually get off this destructive merry-go-round? Well, instead of playing the victim, you can become a survivor by focusing on your own power and solutions. Instead of being a rescuer, you act as a coach, empowering others to solve their own problems. And that persecutor, you can transform that energy into being a challenger, someone who holds people accountable but does it fairly.
And that's really the whole ballgame right there. TA gives you the language to finally see that invisible story you've been living by. And once that script is brought out into the light, it just loses its power over you. You're finally free to choose a different way. So if you remember anything today, remember these 3 keys. You've got your 3 ego states. You know the difference between a smooth transaction and a crossed one, and you can spot the roles on the drama triangle. Those are your tools for changing everything. So the big question is, now that you can see the script, what new story are you going to write? The power to do that, as you now know, is completely in your hands.